tradition in this sport. Goes back decades, the likes of Rudy Hartono, Len Sui King, the first All-England, the Olympic champions, Alan Budi Kusuni, and of course Susi Susanti. And perhaps this year's Axiata Cup, a signal of a real resurgence in Indonesian badminton. Of course, the two teams here in the final played over 2 days. Indonesia Garuda and Indonesia Rajawali played again tomorrow. The home and away legs, of course, both in Indonesia, because both the finalists are from Indonesia. Well, of course, this is the lineup. Both teams at full strength. Simon Santoso at first men's singles against Tommy Sugiarto. Then the Olympic champions, Kido and Setiawan, in the doubles against the youngsters who recently did so well in Australia. And then the last of the matches, the former world and Olympic champion, Taufik Hidayat. Well, Indonesia Garuda, this is how they made their way through to the final. Their groups, of course, 2 groups of 4 teams, 6 nations involved in those group stages that started on the 23rd of March. 3 matches played over that weekend in 2 different locations, in Kuala Lumpur and here in Jakarta. Well, as you can see, for Indonesia Rajawali, the major upset was beating the Malaysia Tigers in the last of the group matches. Of course, the Malaysia Tigers were highly fancied to make their way through to at least the final. But 2 Indonesian teams it is today and tomorrow. And really, we've had so much excitement so far in all of these Axiata Cup matches. As I say, 6 nations, 8 teams, 2 groups of 4, everybody playing everybody else within the group. And then at the semi-final stage, it was home as away, as indeed it is for the final. Many highlights over the early stages. But perhaps the youngsters from Rajawali beating the Malaysians Ku and Tan in the last of their group matches. That to me was a special highlight. Taufik Hidayat has been an absolute stalwart throughout the competition. Played in every single match, whereas the top men's singles player Simon Santoso only fit for one of the semi-finals, the second leg of the semi-finals. There's been surprise selections as well, I have to say, with Hendra Setiawan teaming up with Mohamed Hassan in 3 of the doubles encounters, including both of the semi-finals. The players have loved it, especially Taufik Hidayat. Joked in a press conference, we really needed to have the Axiata Cup every 3 months. I can tell you it was a light-hearted moment, but that really is an indication of how much that this new competition means to all the players. Well, there were doubts, I have to tell you, in some of the media about the fact that 2 Indonesian teams through to the final. They thought it would impact on the crowd. As you can hear, everybody in absolutely fine voice. And everybody ready for the first of our matches in this first leg of the Axiata Cup final. Indonesia Rajawali introduced first, led out by Tommy Sugiarto, then by Dionysius Hayom-Malrembaka, Zalvens Yulianto Chandra, the veteran of the team. The youngster Gustavito, and of course Angga Pratama and Rian Agun Saputra. So, to the more experienced players in Indonesia, Garuda, Simon Santoso, Taufik Hidayat, and there's Sonny Dwi Kunchoro, Bona Septano, Mohammed Hassan, Marcus Kido, and Hendra Setiawan. Well, there's been doubts in recent times by certain members of the media as to where Indonesia was going when their superstars, their megastars like Taufik Hidayat retire probably after the London Olympics later this year. Well, the answer is quite clear. You only have to look down the list of the Rajawali team to know that Indonesia are in very, very good hands in the future of world badminton. Well, as I say, this has been the first year of the Axiata Cup, and what a success it's proved to be. $1 million prize money on offer. Of course, the winning team will take home 400,000. The beaten finalists 200,000. Biggest team event prize money competition in the world of badminton. So the two players playing at men's singles, Simon Santoso for Indonesia, Garuda, Tommy Sugiarto for Indonesia, Rajawali. There are umpire. The toss of the coin, Eddie Rufianto, our umpire. Simon Santoso, well, he's been a player that's been beset with injuries throughout his career. But we're told he's at full fitness. Current world ranking of 9. He has been as high as a 3 from Tegal in central Java. And of course, already this year, Simon Santoso been in a final, the German Grand Prix. His opponents, Tommy Sugiarto, 18 at the moment, down a couple of places from last week. Of course, 16 was his highest ever ranking. Silver medalist at the World Junior Championships, Tommy Sugiarto, back in 2006. Lost out to Hong Ji-hyun in those World Junior Championship finals. Well, Tommy Sugiarto inevitably always gets compared to his very famous father, Ichuk Sugiarto, who of course was world champion back in 1983 when the event was staged in Copenhagen. Beat the former world number 1, the M3 King, in that final, 17-16 in the deciding game. Anybody of my age who can remember that World Championship final will never, ever forget it. Well, this encounter absolutely vital, as all team matches. The first matchup always vital to set your team off to a good start. And obviously, with only 3 matches within the tie, 2 men's singles interjected with 1 men's doubles between the 2 singles. Well, I told you the fans were out in force, very vocal, as they always are here in Indonesia. And as a former player, I have to say, I thrived on it. It's wonderful to play with lots of noise, lots of atmosphere. So just to remind you, of course, Indonesia, Garuda in the red shirts. Indonesia, Rajawali in the grey. So the first of the matches in the first leg of the Axiata Cup final gets underway, and it starts with the young guns, the Indonesia Rajawali. Only met once in international competition, these two players. Of course, they'll know each other's games very well indeed, but in the second round of the Malaysian Super Series event at the beginning of the year, Santoso won against Tommy Sugiarto in 2 straight games. Well, control of the net is always absolutely vital in men's singles. You force the opponent to lift the shuttle. There's the lift, and therefore the opportunity for Santoso to play the winning smash. Yeah. And again, exactly the same tactic and exactly the same outcome. It's absolutely delightful from Santoso. Racket arm outstretched, took the shuttle early and just guided it across court. Well, just proving that he too, Tommy Sugiarto, can put the shuttle away with ease. That's a super angle. Outmaneuvering his opponent, Tommy Sugiarto, played him to the back, brought him forward, and the winning smash across court Oh, that's clever. Change of tactics. Good use of the body smash. And the score's back level. What a good return of serve. Goodness me. Gave the shuttle height and it came down almost vertically. Very, very close to the net. Well, the court will need to be mopped of the perspiration. Six career titles for this man. Just one Super Series, though. That was the Denmark Open back in 2009. Classic singles tactics from Simon Santoso. Pushed Sugiarto deep into his backhand corner, forced him to play the high backhand, which is always a sign that a player's in trouble. And then played the smash down Sugiarto's forehand side for the winner. Well, there's never been more than 2 points in it all the way through so far. Oh, he's just missed it. Up the pace of that rally considerably, did Simon Santoso. It's gone long. Change of shuttle required. Santoso taking his time. Oh, well, that goes down as a missed opportunity from Simon Santoso. Huge effort to get forward early and try and play the kill, but he brought it down into the net, just too steep, too anxious to finish it off. That's going to drift wide. An opportunity for Simon Santoso to close the gap before the mid-game interval. Which indeed he is doing. Once again, it's so clever. Use of the body smash. Tommy Sugiarto getting in all sorts of a tangle. Back level, 10-all. Well, on a run of 4 straight points, Simon Santoso for Indonesia, Garuda has the advantage at the mid-game interval, the narrowest of possible advantages. Just 1 point, but my goodness, what a difference that's made psychologically for both players. Well, if somehow Tommy Sugiarto could have pushed home that 10-7 advantage, gone to the mid-game interval in the lead, would have heaped all the pressure on the more experienced Simon Santoso. Well, that's not the case, because the experienced Simon is the one with the advantage. Good to see the young fans in here enjoying the badminton as much as anyone. There's that body smash again. 3 times he's used that to such great effect, aiming towards the right hip of Tommy Sugiarto, and the run of points now is extended to 5 as far as Simon Santoso is concerned. He's really commanding the rallies now, is Simon Santoso, dictating the pace. Sugiarto at full stretch. Backhand side, then forehand, made to twist and turn. Oh, this is a remarkable run now. 7 straight points. And it really isn't a case of Tommy Sugiarto bottling it. It's a case of this man, Simon Santoso, just upping his pace, upping the intensity, commanding the rallies. And finally, the run of points is broken. And Team Rajawali will be mightily relieved about that. But immediately dictating the pace, accurate with his smash, Simon Santoso, current world number 9. Well, as far as Tommy Sugiarto is concerned, somehow he's got to prevent Simon Santoso from dictating the pace. He's got to take more initiative himself. There's his father. And what a player he was, what a physical player he was, Ichuk Sugiarto. And he'll be much happier with that rally from his youngest son. Missed it. Yeah, a bit of a drift in this indoor tennis stadium. Shuttle flying fast coming towards us as we look down on the court. And so Simon Santoso from that far end needs to be a little bit cautious when he hits those clears, needs to give them either a bit more height or take a bit of pace off it. Which is possibly why he's preferring to hit in a downward direction, preferring to attack. Well, I said right at the start, they love their badminton here in Indonesia. Face paintings, vocal support. Well, this is a good comeback by Tommy Sugiarto. Run of 5 straight points now to Sugiarto, and just 1 point the deficit. Yeah. Good fighting spirit. Real pressure from the front of the court. And look at the reaction. Back level. 17 all in the opening game. Anticipated that Santoso would play back to the net. He was ready and waiting for it, ready to pounce, but the shuttle hadn't come out of its tumble, and that makes it so difficult to control. Well, just can't help but wonder how crucial that missed opportunity at the net might prove to be. Yeah, and there's another missed net shot. This is where experience counts for so much. Knowing how to play the big points. Oh, but Simon Santoso, perhaps a little bit nervous himself. Defense from Tommy Sugiarto. Absolutely brilliant. Simon Santoso was coming forward to the net. He assumed it had to be a block, but somehow Sugiarto lifted over his opponent's head, and it's all level once again. Well, at the crucial moment, the perfect net shot from Simon Santoso. So tight to the net, forced the error, and now it's game point for Indonesia, Garuda. Another body smash, and the same effect as it's had throughout that opening game. Simon Santoso for Indonesia, Garuda take the opening game against Tommy Sugiarto. A thrilling opening game, 21-19. Well, it's 4 or 5 times he's managed to do that, find the right hip of Sugiarto. Well, the court attendants mopping up the court of the perspiration. It is very hot and humid here in Jakarta. Very little air conditioning in this arena. Oh, there we go. And I've got prime viewing here. Perfect commentary position, looking down on the court. Well, I wonder if Tommy Sugiarto is going to start looking for the body smash. To do that, he just needs to adjust his base position slightly. Giant screen in the corner of this arena. Some fans keeping an eye on that to see if they're getting themselves on television. So Indonesia, Garuda, in the form of Simon Santoso, having taken that opening game, 21-19. And the younger of the two players, Tommy Sugiarto, there he is for Indonesia, Rajawali. Well, it was a desperately close opening game. And Sugiarto, I have to say, started exceptionally well. Well, that's a good defence. Got himself out of the way when the body smash came. He's learned from that opening game. That's always so good to see with young players. They worked the rally so well. Well, obviously, the problem for this man in the second game is that he's going to be fearful about his clears getting caught in the drift. And I think Simon Santoso is going to be encroaching in on the net, looking for the opportunity to bring his base further up. Yep, indeed. That's landed on the line. You can see that line perfectly from my commentary position. The richest event in badminton team competition. $1 million up for grabs. And Sugiarto needs to be awfully careful right now. Can't afford to let the world #9 ranked player Simon Santoso get too much of a lead in this second game, having already taken the first. Santoso that is superb, absolutely exquisite. It was the little angled shot from round the head from Simon Santoso, the way he moved forward and just guided that shuttle cross court into the open space. Absolutely delightful. Well, as I said right at the beginning, if anybody had any doubts about the fact that the two Indonesian teams had made their way through to the final, you can dismiss those doubts forever, because the fans are here in great numbers and great force. It really is a wonderful atmosphere. And that's a wonderful shot too from Simon Santoso. 6 straight points. Obviously, these two players know each other very well, and Simon Santoso is using that tactic of the body smash to such great effect. Well, I think it was at 5-1. I said that Tommy Sugiarto needed to stop the run of points. He hasn't been able to do so. And Santoso is on the march, an 8-point advantage now. Yeah. Well, managed to stop the run at long last. Yeah, and stopped it very well indeed. That's a super cross-court smash. Just missed it. Missed by a whisker. Yeah, good accuracy from Simon Santoso and Team Garuda have a 9-point advantage here in the second game, having won the first. And I have to say, the body language of Tommy Sugiarto just a little bit concerning. Perhaps the belief has been drained from his body. There's no doubt he's a fine player. If you look at his results from last year, 4 finals, winning 3 titles. Tommy Sugiarto already this year's semi-final of a Grand Prix Gold event, the German. Lost out in the end to the winner, Lindan. But in the last 16, beat the current world number 4, Lee Hyun-il. Before he was the number 4 seed, of course. Well, the fans are already celebrating. A little bit premature, I suspect. But it is a very, very healthy lead for Simon Santoso. It's landed in. Good lift. Wonderful, wonderful play from Simon Santoso. Pushed Sugiarto deep down the backhand side, then deep down the forehand, and got him slightly out of position, then went for the winning cross-court smash. Well-worked rally and a brilliant smash to end it from Tommy Sugiarto. just in the last couple of rallies I've sensed a little more urgency in this style of play of Tommy Sugiarto, and that's exactly what he needed. Very proud father there. Oh, well, maybe the drift has changed a little. Another one lands in on that back line. Sugiarto is an absolute master of using every inch of the court. Doesn't have the explosive power, perhaps, of a Lin Dan or Lee Chong-wei, but he just calmly and precisely outmaneuvers his opponent. Well, everybody enjoying themselves here at the indoor tennis stadium in Jakarta, and rightly so. Cream of Southeast Asian badminton. Really going for angle there and just overdoing it. It's a good rally, and in the end, Sugiarto just running out of patience. Everything he threw at Simon Santoso, the world number 9, managed to get back, and he got it back with interest. And the problem is, when you're playing against somebody like Santoso, psychologically you say to yourself, well, I've just played a wonderful smash. Santoso dived to the side, got it back, and you say to yourself, how am I going to win this rally? How am I going to win my points? And that's when you try and make it more and more accurate, and in doing so you give yourself no margin, and that's when you start making the errors. Sugiarto guilty of just leaning towards the shuttle rather than getting that right leg out towards the path of the shuttle. Getting the feet in position, so important. 11-point advantage now to Indonesia, Garuda. And just 3 points away from this opening match in the first leg of the final. Oh, it's delightful. Such accuracy. Not so worried about the power, just looking for placement. Thirteen match points now for Simon Santoso to secure the first point for Indonesia, Garuda. It's landed in. 2 straight games for the victory. 21-19, 21-7. On a run of 7 straight points. From 14-7 straight through to 21-7, the second game. And their confirmation that Indonesia, Garuda, take the first match in the overall tie.